Ever feel like you're just drowning in your to-do list? Yeah, I think we all do. Well, today, we're going to tackle that feeling head-on by diving into a classic, Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. We're going to uncover some simple, powerful secrets to getting more of the right things done.
Does this feel a little too familiar? You're swarmed with work, you've got personal projects, a never-ending flood of emails. Oh, and that stack of books you swear you're going to get to someday? It just feels like a relentless tide, right? The tasks just keep coming, and no matter how hard you work, you can never quite seem to catch up.
So here's the thing. Brian Tracy hits us with this really stark, but honestly, kind of freeing reality. You will never be caught up. Just let that sink in for a second. This idea that you can get on top of every single little thing, it's just a recipe for frustration. But this isn't bad news, not at all. It's actually the starting point for a whole new way of thinking.
So yeah, that feeling of being totally overwhelmed, it is so real. But the solution? It's probably not what you're thinking. It's not about just cramming more stuff in.
Look, you could learn every productivity hack out there, but the truth is there's always going to be more to do than you have time for. The real secret isn't about working harder, it's about changing how you think about your work. It's about making a choice, strategically deciding what not to do so you can focus on the few things that really truly matter.
And that, right there, brings us to the core idea of this whole book. This simple but super powerful rule for cutting through all that noise.
So what in the world is a frog? Well, your frog is that one big, hairy, important task. You know the one. It's the thing you're most likely to put off, maybe because it's hard or intimidating, but it's also the one that could have the biggest, most positive impact on your life if you just got it done.
This quote just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. The idea is so simple. Get your biggest, baddest, most important task done first thing. Knock it out. After that, everything else you have to do that day feels easier by comparison. You carry that win with you all day long.
And the strategy boils down to two beautifully simple rules. First, if you've got two frogs, you eat the ugliest one first. And ugliest just means the biggest, hardest, most critical task. That's your number one. And the second rule, man, this one is crucial. If you've got to eat a live frog, it doesn't pay to sit and stare at it for too long. In other words, stop thinking about it and just do it. Action is everything.
And get this, there's actually some cool brain science that backs this all up. When you finish a big, important task, when you finally eat that frog, your brain gives you a little reward. It releases endorphins. It's like this natural high, this feeling of, I did it. And that feeling creates this awesome positive feedback loop that motivates you to do the next thing. You can literally get addicted to getting things done.
All right, so the idea sounds pretty good, right? But with a million things on your list, how in the world do you figure out which one is the real frog?
Well, it all starts with something you've probably heard of, the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. It basically says that 20% of your activities will get you 80% of your results. Just think about that for a second. If you have 10 things on your to-do list, 2 of them are going to be more valuable than the other 8 combined. Your frog is definitely hiding in that top 20%.
So this really helps us draw a line in the sand. On one side, you've got the vital few, those are your frogs. And on the other, you have the trivial many. We can call those the tadpoles. And here's the trap we all fall into. We procrastinate on the big, important frogs by staying busy with the easy, trivial tadpoles. We spend our whole day chasing these little things, and we never even get to the frog.
So how do you spot that vital 20%? It's all about thinking long-term. Think about the consequences. A real frog is a task that has major potential consequences, either really good ones if you do it, or pretty bad ones if you don't. So just ask yourself this one simple question. Of everything on my list, which one task would have the greatest positive impact on my life and my career if I did it right now? Boom. The answer to that question? That's your frog.
Okay, let's switch gears and get super practical. I'm going to give you a simple but honestly incredibly powerful system you can start using every single day.
It's called the ABCDE method. The idea is, before you even start your day, you go through your list and you label everything. A tasks are your must-dos. These are your frogs. They have serious consequences if you don't do them. B tasks are your should-dos. These are your tadpoles. Yeah, you should do them, but the consequences are pretty mild. Then you've got C for nice to do, D for delegate to someone else, and E for eliminate. Just get it off your list completely. But here's the absolute golden rule. You never do a B task when there's still an A task left undone. Period.
Okay, so here's what that looks like as a daily routine. 4 simple steps.
First, make your list the night before. This is key. Step 2, in the morning, you organize that list using the ABCDE method. If you end up with a few A tasks, just number them in order of importance: A1, A2, A3. Your A1 is your biggest, ugliest frog. And then, step 4, and this is the most important part, you start immediately on your A1 task, and you discipline yourself to stay on it until it is 100% complete. No distractions.
You know, doing this for one day is awesome. But the real life-changing magic happens when you turn this whole thing into a habit you don't even have to think about.
So Brian Tracy says there are 3 keys to locking this in as a habit. First, you have to make a clear decision. Decide that you're going to become a person who gets important things done. Second, you need the discipline to practice these steps over and over again, especially on the days you really don't feel like it. And finally, you got to have the determination to just keep at it, to back everything you do with grit until this habit is locked in and becomes totally automatic.
You know, with any big task, the hardest part is always just starting, right? This quote from Goethe absolutely nails the feeling of what happens when you just begin. Once you start, you build momentum, and the thing that seemed so impossible suddenly feels totally doable.
So look, this has been fun to talk about, but it's not just theory. This is a call to action for you. So I'm going to challenge you. Take a minute right now and think about your day tomorrow. What is that one task? What's your frog? What's your A1? Because learning about this stuff is great, but actually doing it is what changes everything. So, what's the frog you're going to eat tomorrow?